Okay, so let's talk about where this comes from. This is called the Pythagorean identity, and we'll see why in just a minute. But let's just explain what sine squared of theta really means. Sine squared means find the sine of the angle measure and then square that ratio. This is really just another way of saying sine theta times itself. So whatever the sine ratio is, square it. We're not squaring the angle measure. We're squaring the sine ratio after we take the sine of that angle measure. And likewise, cosine squared is cosine theta times itself. So let's take a look on the unit circle. And what I've done is I have created a unit circle, which means the center is at 0, 0 and the radius length is 1. Remember, we always start at the point 1 comma 0, so the coordinates of C here are 1 comma 0. And no matter where I move this point C, the radius will always be 1, and the coordinates of point C are given by x comma y, but x is the cosine of that angle measure, and that's why I put here that the length of this side of the right triangle is going to be the x coordinate of this point C. And the y coordinate of this point C is the sine of this angle measure. And as you can see, as I move that point C around the circle, the x coordinate of the point C is always the cosine of that angle. And it's just the measure of angle ABC here is 132 degrees, but the reference angle is right here. But the sine of that angle measure is always going to be the y coordinate here. Okay. So really what we have is x squared plus y squared equals the radius squared, but the radius is 1. So x squared plus y squared equals 1. And that's what I have up here. I have the y squared plus x squared, but that's okay. So really what we're saying is that the sine squared plus the cosine squared is equal to 1. Because remember, the y coordinate is really just the sine of that angle measure, and the x-coordinate is just the cosine. So really, sine squared plus cosine squared will always equal 1.